Herb. Herb is a plant. I mean, herbs are good for everything. Herb.
Welcome to Eugene Cannabis TV. You made the trip and you reached the program. We're at show 654, and we got our friend Peke with us. He came down from Salem, and no announcements in particular today. I hope everybody's staying cool and trying some air to breathe. It's not full of smoke. Blue Whale and I went up last Friday. We went to the Northwest Cannabis Club, and I wanted to explain that in detail and talk about it because it was pretty neat. We met the guy Mike, the proprietor, and I spoke to him, and he's an interesting guy and real easy to talk to. When he started the club, there were 3 in Portland, and the other 2 shut down. And he's coming on 2 years, and he's still up and still running and hadn't had any problems. So it's really cool. Yeah. So this is a message from Mike Keesor, CEO and founder of Northwest Cannabis Market and the Northwest Cannabis Club. He says, salute to cannabis entrepreneurs and innovators. The Northwest Cannabis Club prides itself on being an innovator for the future of cannabis. We recognize the brave people who risk their lives, families, and financial security to normalize the cannabis industry. Yet there are still unfair ways that our state and federal governments approach us. The OHA has fined us $1,900 for violating the Indoor Clean Air Act, and some may not know that cannabis was added to the list of prohibited items in a 2015 last-minute legislative stunt. The Northwest Cannabis Club opened prior to this change and remains open today. We continue with a model that provides a safe environment and a variety of events and activities for our members. Become a member, encourage others to become members, and businesses to hold cannabis events at the club. Individual and business membership growth is essential. On Sunday, July 30th, the Northwest Cannabis Club saluted the brave entrepreneurs and innovators in their own right, with their own night. They had music and food and cannabis fellowship. So and then I got this information off the web, including that all this information I got off their website. They're open from noon until midnight, Monday through Saturday, and from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. on Sunday. Now it's a $20 lifetime membership, and then it's $5 each time you go in to use the club. Go to visit the club, and it's $5 a visit. And it's an old bar. There's an upstairs and a downstairs. There's a 50-foot dab bar. They have vaporizers, volcanoes, e-nails. It's a good chance for somebody to try out a volcano. If they've never tried a volcano, what are they, $500-600 or more? $800?
Yes, if you buy a quality one.
Yeah, they're really up there.
And then with the turkey roaster bags to catch the vapor.
Right, yeah. And so this is a good way to try these out, because instead of spending the money and buying one and then see if you like it or not, this way you can try them out and then see if you want to buy one. So,
well, with one of those, you don't have no flame. You can carry the turkey baser bag with you, and it's as fresh as when you made it up.
Yeah, it's great. Downstairs is a casual lounge. We got pool table, foosball, shuffleboard, snacks and beverages. And that's at 1195 Southeast Powell Boulevard, up in Portland. The facilities for rent, for instance, the downstairs game and party room, it's $295 for 4 hours. Upstairs stage and dab bar, it's $395 on a Sunday for a day. But anyway, there's all kinds of different price things in there if you want to rent a facility. And then these special events, now this is what I got a big kick out of. Next one coming up, now this is real short because this is the 7th. As we're speaking to you, this is recording this is the 7th. And on the 12th is the ice cream social. Check this out.
That would be nice.
Build your own sundaes, medicated toppings, ganja, chocolate fountain, reggae music, and free swag.
Wow.
So and, that's cool. And then August 17th, they're having the Smoke, Paint, and Be Merry. That's spelled M-A-R-Y, Merry, Be Merry. Step-by-step printing classes taught by Portland artists. Painting. Well, I said step-by-step printing. I must have misspelled that. Anyway, then there's the Cannabizian Garden Club. That already happened, but they'll probably be there again, so it's something to think about. It says, join us for an overview of the Cannabizian method of both indoor and outdoor organic gardening over a season here in Oregon. Free seeds for all. And then there's the $199 summer birthday party special. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, this downstairs casual lounge is available for private party celebrations. So think of that. You could have a party celebration and a place like that. Anyway,
well,
really cool.
The only trouble is it's in Portland.
I know.
That's a
drive. I know. And then one more thing. And Sunday is the Wake and Bake. It's not the Wake and Bake we're familiar with, but that's the Wake and Bake. So anyway, and if you have a chance, you might check those people out. They're really a great bunch of people, especially Mike. I appreciate what he's doing, and I told him that I would definitely talk about it in the show, not only in the next show, but in the future. And if anybody goes up there, if you go up there, please tell them DanK sent you. I told them they'd be listening, and if anybody said that they came, that DanK told them to come on by or told them about it, that so
yeah.
Hopefully they'll come back. But anyway, it was a good experience, and like Peke said, it is in Portland. That's the drawback. Hopefully we'll get some here. It's only natural. It's going to evolve. I think it'll happen. But anyway, we had a great time, and so you wanted to talk about your written testimony.
Yeah. So back in May 3rd in 2016, when the laws were changing for the medical patients, I got upset and I found a lawyer, and we wrote a testimonial where he found that the state has been violating our civil rights in Section 20. Section 20 states that everybody should be treated equally. There's several different prices of the medical program. We're fortunate that the veterans got their discount at this time, which is $20. I mean, there's no reason for a person to pay for the privilege of using cannabis as a medicine. It's a racket that the state is making legal bucks from, and with the recreational market now too, where they have made legal bucks from, and the last time I haven't heard them splitting it up yet. So it's collecting interest. Mm-hmm. You know what collecting interest means on a lot of money. A lot of more money. Mm-hmm. And they're not sharing it with the patients or with the state.
No, and patients should be reimbursed really, because the idea of the program to begin with is to be self-sufficient. And it's been way over that in the following years, and the state has been skimming money off of it. So anyway, it's been an enormous injustice, and it still continues.
So when I hear about these hearings, I try my best to make it there. My CCTV up in Salem, we have a weekly phone-in show on Friday nights, 7 to 7:30. We talk about the benefits of cannabis. We have people from the East Coast once in a while call. we have our friend in Arkansas that found another loophole in the law there, that cannabis is a medicine. It shouldn't be reefer madness, propaganda.
Mm-hmm. What state was that again?
Arkansas.
Oh, wow.
And he's on the web, and if you look up Robert of Arkansas.
Robert who?
Robert from Arkansas.
Okay, okay.
You would see his, and if you go to the Mercy website, you would see his testimony.
Yeah, I need to check that out myself. My sister lives in Arkansas, so I should be checking that out. Very cool. You don't know his last name offhand?
No, but it's on the website.
Yeah, right. Okay, yeah. The Mercy Center's website, and or do a search. So Robert, Arkansas, and medical marijuana. If I pull it up, it's amazing what the search engine will do. But anyway, so go ahead.
So we need you to really think about who's going to be making these stupid laws for us. Mm-hmm. We have to research on the people, the candidates that are coming up for election this year. Mm-hmm. Actually in 18. Mm-hmm. Make sure you're registered. Make sure your neighbors are registered. And talk to your neighbors, because they send out a voter pamphlet a couple months before the elections and tell you what's being talked about. Mm-hmm. And they have a pro and negative side on the issues. I mean, our forefathers fought for these rights, and they are only in the grave because they're not using the hemp plant or the cannabis plant the way that God should.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's all about education, and overcoming the reefer madness, of course. Yeah.
So, my dear friend Bradley M. Shipman from the Green Business Law wrote this testimonial up for me. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a hell of a thing. I sent it I gave it to the governor and the Secretary of State. I got a reply a few months later from the governor when she said, talk to our representative. I've been going to a lot of these hearings, and the last ones at the Capitol, I have a copy of this testimony and I give to the 12 people there. And I went and personally interviewed these people. And when I asked them, did they read the testimony? Oh, we got a stack of testimonial. Well, that's good. But did you look at it? Did you read the first words of it? Right. They looked like deers in bright headlights.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's why I always wonder if it's even worth the testifying when we go up there. We keep trying, but is it really worth it? And by the way, and that's at Mercy Center's call-in. That's on Friday nights, like PK said, between 7 and 7:30. Phone number is 503-588-6444. And set your alarm. That's what I do. In fact, I'm setting 2 of them now, trying to keep me remembering to be sure and call these guys. We'll be right back. This is the first episode coming.
Do you suffer from fear of losing your election? Are you terrified that voters will discover you've done nothing to improve their lives? Maybe it's time you talk to your spin doctor about Incarcerex. In clinical trials, Incarcerex has been shown effective at reducing election-related anxieties by making voters think you're doing something about the drug problem. It's simplistic and fast-acting. If your problems continue or get worse, you can always double or triple your dose of Incarcerex. Whether it's addiction, therapeutic use, or just casual use, there's an Incarcerex plan for every American. Best of all, taxpayers, not you, will foot the bill. So talk to your spin doctor about Incarcerex today. Common side effects include loss of civil liberties, police corruption, racial injustice, increased terrorism, spread of HIV and AIDS, and violent crime. Bloated prisons are also a common side effect. Stop taking Incarcerex if bloating lasts longer than 20 years. If you're trying to balance the budget, keep families together, or protect human rights, Incarcerex may not be right for you. Do not mix Incarcerex with the Constitution or common sense. So start taking Incarcerex and keep pretending you're doing something about the drug problem.
Welcome back to the second half of the Eugene Cannabis TV, show number 654. And we got our friend Peke here, and I'm DanK, and we're talking about things cannabis related. Just came across a great story our friend Kathy Ging sent us. This is dated August 7th, 2017. State legislatures across the country call on Congress to solve the cannabis banking problem. In Boston, this is out of Boston, state legislators from across the United States passed a resolution today to help legal cannabis businesses access banking services, to protect their entrepreneurs' personal and financial safety, and let states determine their own paths toward cannabis regulation. Oregon legislatures, or Senate Republican leader Ted Firoli, a Republican, out of John Day, Senate Majority Leader Jenny Burdick, Democrat, out of Portland, State Representative Phil Barnhart, Democrat, in Eugene, and State Representative Julie Fahey, Democrat, in Eugene, worked together to pass the renewal of this resolution at the National Conference of State Legislatures annual summit currently underway in Boston. When they don't have access to banking services, legal cannabis businesses are forced to operate in cash only. This makes them prime targets for robbery and violent acts due to the high value of the product. Current federal law prevents local Oregon businesses from using the banking system for depositing receipts and paying their bills. Barnhart said the resolution asked for changes in the federal marijuana law to allow these legitimate businesses to operate the same way other small businesses operate, to accept payments and pay their bills. Their owners will no longer have to carry large amounts of cash to pay their taxes, rent, suppliers, and wages if the federal laws allow normal use of the banking system. The legislature has also called for removing cannabis from Schedule I status to the on the federal level to enable important research to occur. They are calling for that change as well. Americans across the nation have weighed in on this issue. We are asking the federal government to remove cannabis from scheduling so we can so that we can forge ahead with life-changing cannabis medical research, Farley said. Cannabis is not heroin and is not LSD. We should move forward with a more common sense approach to public policy. Flawed federal cannabis policy is perpetuating the mentality of prohibition, enabling foreign and domestic gangster cartels and wasting precious public safety resources. Oregon's campaign industry is making a substantial impact on the state's economy, and as a legal business, it should have the same access to banking services as other industries. The cannabis industry is making noteworthy contributions to Oregon's economy, and it will be an important driver of economic growth and job creation in the future, Fahey said. I hear from small cannabis business owners across Oregon that access to capital and secure banking services are critical for their success. Removing marijuana from scheduling at the federal level will help these businesses to move away from cash-only operations and will allow entrepreneurs to secure loans to start new businesses. The original resolution was passed first last year at the group's annual conference in Chicago. It was crafted and shepherded to passage by Burdick, Veroli, and State Representative Ann Linninger. Barnhart has agreed to this year to sign on with the resolution as Oregon legislators work to having it renewed. So anyway, that's really great news. Moving forward.
It's been a long time.
It has been.
They've
So let's hope it goes somewhere.
through a credit union to do their banking business.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's and there's no reason for it. It's just anyway, we're making baby steps. I like to say, taking 3 steps forward and 2 back. Well, we're moving forward.
We still got a step ahead of them.
Oh boy! And then this is a familiar name came up in this news story, but yeah, this is out of was on the CBSNews.com. 2 sheriff's deputies shot in Northern California, and this was what was about 3-4 days ago in Dobbins, California. A man was found dead inside a rural home Tuesday after he was shot and wounded. After he shot and wounded 2 California sheriff's deputies who confronted him as he pulled up marijuana plants on a farm that supplies pot to a Rastafarian church, authorities said. During a press conference Tuesday, Yuba County Sheriff Steve Dufar said a man matching the description of the person who shot deputies was found dead in a rural home. The scene is along Marysville Road near the communities of Oregon House and Dobbins, about 55 miles north of Sacramento. Authorities are treating the area as still active. The incident began about 8:30 a.m. when a deputy described as a 14-year veteran of the department responded to the report of a disturbance over marijuana plants on a farm that supplies pot to the Rastafarian church. He arrived at the scene and tried to sort out the disturbance, but was unable to locate the suspect. A short time later, a second deputy, described as a 10-year veteran of the department, arrived at the scene, spotted a man who matched the description of the suspect running toward a residence about 100 yards up the hill. About 9:35 a.m., a third deputy, described as a 22-year veteran, arrived at the scene and joined the 2 other deputies in their search. The first 2 deputies went to the front door of the home, while the third went to the back to cover the back door. The 2 talked to the resident inside and were granted permission to enter the home, although the resident didn't think anyone was inside. After clearing the residence, they got into a gunfight with the suspect. The suspect hit the 14-year veteran once in the lower pelvis and thigh. The 10-year veteran was shot once in the arm and possibly a second time. The 22-year veteran reported the deputies were down. He went inside the residence twice and got the deputies out. Dufar said that the 2 wounded deputies were airlifted to a hospital and arrived conscious, talkative, and stable. The pair, whose names were not released, were in serious condition and underwent surgery, according to the hospital. 4 separate SWAT teams responded to the scene. Around 2 p.m., SWAT members went inside the residence and found the suspect dead of gunshot wounds. A preliminary investigation suggests the suspect died from gunshot wounds he received during the shootout with the 2 deputies. The suspect hasn't been identified. And it wasn't in this story. It must have been another one similar to it, but the name Heidi Lepp was mentioned as being somebody that lived there at the residence, and the last name of Lepp is probably related to Eddie Lepp. Do you remember Eddie Lepp? You meet him?
I might have, a long time.
Yeah, he was a great guy, or is a great guy. He spent time in federal prison, and he's out now. But that might be some relation to his. I'm not sure. I thought maybe it might be his wife, but I'm not sure. But anyway, Eddie wasn't there, and it's nothing to do with Eddie, thank heaven, so he didn't have to get messed up in that. But anyway, so that's the kind of things happen. You know, it's interesting when a substance has an artificial value to it, things go crazy, you know. Yeah. It's like anything else, it's worth money or money itself. And so,
well, it's they taking something that's not yours.
Oh yeah. We remember we had that incident. We had an incident here in Eugene a number of years ago, where a kid was riding down a back alley, and he went over a fence and stole a plant, stole a plant, I guess it was. And the owner saw it being stolen, but couldn't catch the guy, and the guy took off on a bicycle. Well, the guy went by a stakeout, 2 civilian unmarked, 2 cops in civilian clothes on a stakeout. And this kid went running by in a bicycle with a pot plant. This is before it was legal, of course. And so the cops chased him down, and the kid said, "Well," he says, "I'll make a deal with you. I'll show you where it came from, and you let me go." So he took the cops back to where the plant was stolen. And then to come to find out it was a legal grow, medical grow.
Wow.
And so then the guy went to jail for stealing.
We at our garden in Independence, we had a person break into it and stole cured patients' medicine.
Oh, wow.
And they caught him the second time, and he did time in it, but the confiscated cannabis was poorly stored, and it wasn't cured, it was fresh cannabis. So, you know, anything that's fresh and not given the preparation, it just rotted.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 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 That's too bad. Yeah. It's like this plant I mentioned. It was so battered. They ended up keeping it as evidence, and it was destroyed in the process, like you're talking about. So, yeah. But at least people. It's like when Paul Sanford had his grow, broke it into not his grow. They were curing his whole crop in a great big rented garage. I don't mean like a 2-car garage to the house. I mean a commercial garage, a big building, you know. Anyway, they had her in there curing, and I guess there was 3 guys in 2 vehicles or something, a car and a truck, and anyway, they busted in and tried to steal it and got caught because there was an alarm system. So,
wow. The police were our friends at the beginning by taking care of the burglar.
Oh, yeah. Oh, exactly. And that's what, yeah, the police were very professional, treated it as a crime, just like any other crime. It was, other than the theft of it, it was a very good experience dealing with the law enforcement over it.
So we'll have just a few minutes left. Please give us a call up in Salem. That's Friday nights at 7 to 7:30 p.m. 503-588-6444.
Definitely, give him a shout out because I mean, look at Peke. He comes all the way down from Salem to be on our show, and so give them a call and show them support backwards. You know,
This is why I started the show up in Salem.
That's right.
CCTV.
Yeah, that's right.